My bad. Welcome again to Taxonomy Tuesday for August 4th. We'll get started. If you've been here before, you know how it works. We'll take turns sharing our photos. My name is Lila, and if you have something you'd like to share, you can put it into your name into the chat, and we'll hopefully start with folks that have things they want to share from their computer, and then we will go to the email. All right. Hunter, I see you've raised your flag here. Would you like to begin?
Actually, no, I said I could show stuff if needed. Okay. I'd rather see what you guys have from them for whatever. Okay. I don't have anything really exciting, but if we are slow, I can show stuff later.
Okay. Brandon said he's got some, so we'll jump to him.
Did we start the recording?
All right. Start share. Share entire screen. All right, can you guys hear me and see my screen?
Yes.
All right, cool. So this isn't from Nev. It's from Jersey. But I don't know, this is a name that I learned from Igor at Thompson Hill Metaphor. And I couldn't figure out what this thing was, and then I remembered that name, Bothia, but I couldn't really find a good match. It looks like a Sewillis, that the pores to me, but I'm not sure. I also can't find a good description of Bothia castaneus.
Castanella.
Yeah, castanella.
So you guys agree that's what this is?
I think so.
Can we zoom in a little bit more? Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, and this species used to be in Sewillis.
Oh.
Yeah, and by the way, we did find this at NEMF, and I forgot to record it in my bulletation list.
Oh, good reminder.
It was not on the ID table. That's why I kind of omitted it, but then I remember we found it.
Oh, that's why I didn't see it.
What's the cap surface like on that, Brandon? Is it
velvety?
Yeah, it's got a little bit. It was tough to make out. I found a bunch of stuff on this day, and when I find a bunch of stuff, I end up taking bad photographs. So I didn't do a great job of documenting this. But yeah, it's fuzzy, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, furfuraceous, kind of fuzzy. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not glabrous. It's not smooth. It has texture. You can feel it, the roughness on the cap.
Right, which kind of,
volutinous, maybe that's the word.
And that'll give you pause against like a Sewillis, for example. Not a lot of them have kind of tomentose, hairy caps, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, most of them don't.
Some do, though. Hey, so do the pores, are they a little bit decurrent?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so that's kind of a tell for this one a little bit, would you say? Maybe.
Oh, I got more photos.
And you found this in the Pine Barrens area?
Cool, thanks.
Yeah, that's a good shot. That's pretty good.
Yeah, Pine Barrens, southern Pine Barrens. So more Atlantic County.
Yeah, I don't know if this is common in the Pine Barrens. I cannot recall immediately any Bothia we found there before, but yeah, I mean, it could be just rare or
Well,
location
it's
specific.
this location is interesting. I mean, it is southern pine barrens, but it's hard. There's a lot of hardwoods there. A lot of
Okay,
hardwoods.
okay, that explains it. Okay,
Yeah.
because it is a hardwood associated species, as far as I know.
All right, cool. Well, thank you. I'm glad that name came to me after I was trying to figure out what that was.
That's a cool one.
Yeah, I thought so too. And then, yeah, I'm calling this a Psathyrella. I mean, I don't know what else I would call it, but I don't know what species it is. It is really cool the way that it has this kind of vellum all the way to the center, kind of sparsely dispersed, a little more active at the margin, but and
The
then
white dots are interesting.
yeah, that's the vellum. That's like the
Oh,
veil.
yeah.
So is that a ring zone?
I didn't notice a definite
On
ring
the
zone, but
The last photo looked like maybe. Oh, maybe not. Oh, okay. No, it's just a dent.
yeah, I didn't
Denting.
notice an obvious ring zone, but you can see here there's that like wispy zone that maybe got, distorted or something.
Yeah, I'm wondering if this might be just sort of a post-mature Gossipina, Typhrasa Gossipina.
See, I don't think that Gossipina shows this kind of striation. Yeah, I
Oh.
think in maturity they're more wrinkled, right?
Yeah. That's the main difference that I see. So I'm thinking that it's possible that instead of wrinkles, the wrinkles might have just sort of
Oh,
aligned into ridges, but that's a long shot. It's probably something else.
I do understand what you're saying. Uh, yeah, those wrinkles maybe just aligned radially.
Yeah, which would be unusual. The color profile matches Typhrasa Gossipina.
Yeah, and you can see this thing's really hygrophonous. By the time I got it back, this was pretty much almost white.
Yeah, that's true of a lot of Psathyrelliaceae.
Sure.
How big was this?
Over an inch cap, probably close to 2. No, not that big.
That's a
Inch
little
and
small for Typhrasa, actually.
yeah. Yeah, it's got a little bit more of a delicate look than Tephrasia as well, Gossipina. But I got the spores here, and they look like Psathyrellaceae spores to me. Kind of boring and reddish. But one thing I noted was, and I forget where I've read this in descriptions before, but a lot of these spores and these are just mounted in water, have a blue halo to them. If you can see that on the underside of this one, in the top, maybe even like this one on the top there, on the left. Yeah, you see how they all kind of have that?
I see it. I was not aware of that. Do the spores need to be mounted in anything specific in order for that to come through? Do you know?
Well, this was just in water.
Well, that might be the best thing because I usually use KOH, but the KOH might impede whatever reaction is causing this blue halo.
Yeah. And I'm not even sure if I remember I have read of some spores having, a colored halo. I'm not sure if that's specific to Psathyrella or Psathyrella. So, maybe it's just a trick of the light, or the way the light was shining through the window while I was doing microscopy. And then here's a cystidium. It has thick walls, kind of a pinch at the apex there. That's the spore print color. It's a little out of focus, but typical Psathyrella, kind of a darkish, purplish coloration to it. Yeah, I haven't found a good match for it yet, but I think Psathyrella is probably the best name to apply for it. I could drop it down to Psathyrella, but I think this is probably a Psathyrella.
Yeah, probably. I mean, the only reason I think Psathyrella is because in my mind, comes the idea of Typhrasa, which used to be Psathyrella.
Yeah, and I'm not good with Psathyrellas, but I think there are a couple other split off genera there as well besides Typhrasa.
Yeah, well, there's Candylomyces, but this is not that.
Yep.
There's a few others too, actually. They're kind of recent. I forget them.
All right. And then let's go to another mystery one for me. That's pretty cool, I think. Where is that thing? This one. So this little guy down here, growing in this is a hardwood swamp with a bunch of sphagnum, and it was actually dry, unfortunately. But found this growing out of the sphagnum, and this black thing here, that's the base of a geoglossum, so an earth tongue. And this was growing kind of just underneath of that earth tongue coming out of the sphagnum.
Neat.
Yeah, I mean, I thought maybe I didn't really have Entoloma or Entolomaceae as a possibility for this until I looked at the spores. I guess I should have. I thought maybe Hydropus.
Yeah, you know what? There's a small Entoloma that I found in sphagnum. It's fairly similar. The ones I found are lighter colored, and I don't think they have the dark center on the cap. And this is really probably a little more long. The striations are probably more a bigger percentage of their radius. Interesting. Yeah, well, when I first found this thing I'm talking about, I didn't know it was Entoloma until I examined spores. I'll find it and put it in the chat.
Okay, cool. Thank you. And then the one spore between the 2 and 3, that's kind of the most obvious Entoloma spore. The rest of them are, I mean, a lot of these, I think these are some of the cuboid Entolomaceae spores. You can see some of them form pretty close to squares.
Cool. I like that.
Yeah. And it could, be depending on which angle you're looking at. If you have it lined up perfectly with the apiculus, like this one here, that one's in a pretty good profile, and it still, only has 4 sides to it. So.
Could you show the mushroom again?
Yeah.
Wow. Psathyrella or Entoloma.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Or, Yeah, I mean, it's got to be an Entoloma or Nolinia or, one of these split off genera, I think. All right, cool.
Interesting. Yeah. All right. Thank you. What else you got?
Brandon, I put a link in the chat. So the thing I found, they're calling it Entoloma PA02.
Ah, gotcha.
Yeah, and it's lighter color than yours, but it's somewhat similar. Okay, here's a name you might want to check also. Watsonii. Entoloma watsonii.
Nice.
I've never found it, but I know the species because it was something that I looked into when I found my little ones.
Right.
Watsonii is colored different than the ones I found. So you might want to check out that name.
Cool. Thank you. Watsonii and PA02.
Yeah, well, I put a link in the chat. I'll get a link to Watsonii because I think it's on Myco Quebec.
Cool. Thanks, Dave. And then if Igor is still here, this is another thing that I don't know if I have the name right, but I think this is something that Igor showed me at a couple forays. It's that weird polypore that stains red and then goes black. It's kind of gelatinous.
Yeah. It used to be in Letiporus.
And I thought it had Rosia in the name, but
no, it wasn't Rosia.
Is it this Berkcurtia persicina?
Yeah, persicina. Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
formerly in Letiporus, which obviously is incorrect. Yeah.
Right.
Berkcurtia persicina.
Okay, good. But it's a cool thing.
Persicina. What's that?
Yeah, it's a cool mushroom that I don't see it all that often.
Yeah, we saw this at Scotland Run, and another collection came from Shark River. That I remember for sure. Not this year, in the past.
Right. I remember seeing it at Shark River the one time, and it sat there, on the ID table because by the time it gets to the IT table, it's just black.
Yeah, it gets brown from handling, and it's a very hefty and very moist mushroom. It's loaded with moisture.
What substrate? You said wood. What kind of wood? Do you know? Hardwood or conifer?
Oak. I think oak.
Yeah. So this, I mean, it's southern pine barrens, so there's pitch pines everywhere, but there were red and white oaks, blackjack oak, a lot of blackjack oak actually.
Okay. Yeah. Good. I don't think I've seen that before.
Yeah, it's got once you handle this thing, it really, like Igor said, it holds a lot of water, so it's like it's very squishy, and as soon as you pick it up, it goes, as soon as you touch one of the edges, it'll go reddish brown.
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. Thank you. And then one more, just because this was a new one for me, and I'm pretty sure I have the ID correct here. Lasiosphaeria ovina. These are these little tomentose ascomycetes, and they're really small.
Neat.
Yeah. They look like eyeballs, so this is kind of a spooky photo.
I was thinking black-eyed peas, but yeah, that works.
Yeah, black-eyed peas works too. So yeah, there you can see the scale. None of them even really approaching 1 millimeter. So
yeah, tiny.
Yep.
So did you have to come up with a name for this? You said it was an ASCO?
Yeah, Lasiosphaera.
Lasiosphaeria. Okay.
Why can't I go back?
Yeah. Sphera, I get that. I don't know what Lasio stands for. Yeah.
Lasiosphaera ovina. And I think ovina, doesn't that mean sheep? Ovinus means sheep. So maybe
I think
that's
so. Yeah.
maybe that probably in reference to the kind of woolly outer texture.
As is the Lasio. I think Lasio means hairy or woolly.
Oh, cool. Yeah. It's a cool one, and I'd never seen it before. It's probably more common than is reported just because it's so small, but yeah, never seen it before.
Nice.
That'll do it for me.
Okay, thank you for sharing those 5. Chris, you said you had at least one, I think.
Yeah.
You want to go next, please?
Yeah, let me start out. Can you see my camera going?
We see
We can see you.
Oh, now could I flip it around?
We just did.
All right. I don't know how to see my. Oh, there we go. So there's my little apple tree, and I noticed it had the rust on it again. But I've never seen a mature one yet. But this year, for whatever reason, I made a post already. I'm going to share that now, but they really, you know, stick up all these little parts here. Let me
Wow.
share my screen. And that's one of them up close.
Cool.
And that's the top side of the leaf. These things all face down.
And a beautiful.
Yeah, they're real cool looking.
Do they have any impact on the apples themselves, or?
I don't know. I think if you have a tree and it's got enough rust on it, it's probably not great for the
Tree.
Photosynthesis and all that.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it does anything to the apples. But I grabbed one and I don't know. I guess I'm gonna try to mess with it under the microscope. This one almost looks a little. This is the one I have inside. I don't know if this is finished doing or not. But yeah,
it might be a little past compared to that one you were showing us in real time in the background that looked quite.
Yeah, maybe I'll have to get a fresher one.
So did you come up with any name for this?
Oh, I think it's yeah, I did. The Gymnosporangium.
Okay.
I mean, which one it is beyond that. They had a whole list of them, pear rust and this one and that one. I mean, this is on an apple tree. Is it really the apple cedar rust like I thought or not? I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, you might be able to sort it out with the microscopy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the hope.
Yeah, cool. I've never seen the that fruiting body like that on the apple leaves. Certainly seen it on the juniper.
Yeah, I just, it's right it's right at my gate, my little tree here. So like I'm constantly walking past it, and when the rust shows up, I'm always flipping them over and seeing if there's one.
Cool. Okay. Is that it, or do you have some more?
So the keynote speaker at NEMF, she talked a little bit about rusts, and I don't think the apple cedar rust falls into this category, but she said that a good percentage of rusts have a 5-stage life cycle where there's like 5 different manifestations of spore bearing fruit bodies. But I think the apple rust only has 2. I think that's what she said.
Yeah, I remember her talking about that too, Dave. I can't remember what she said in particular for the Gymnosporangium. I think we had all of one rust that made it to the tables at NEMF. So it was.
There was only one.
Yeah, only one that I saw.
I think those are the spores and the cedar apple rust. Sam from the Philadelphia Mycology Club last year gave a whole talk on rust, and she discussed these. I think there are 4 stages. If I don't have my notes, but and several of them more occur on the juniper than on the apple tree itself. Okay. But these are the spores in those little sausage-like things, and they will be released in late summer, and then, if I'm not mistaken, they blow by wind to the junipers, and then they overwinter as galls, and then they produce the next stage, and I'm not sure which stage that is. Teleospores, I'm not really sure, but it will be somewhere on the internet.
The galls erupt into these orange icicle-looking things in the spring.
Oh, okay. On the junipers.
On the juniper, yeah.
Oh, okay. I'll look out for them. Are they on the just anywhere on the needles or underside surface?
All over.
Stem.
We had wild cedars on our property that we had. They weren't very big, maybe 8 feet high or something. We had to cut them all down. They were just absolutely covered with these nodules, these like acorn looking things.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, they could be like 2 to 3 inches long.
Yeah, you really can't miss them. They're looking right at you, and it'll be early spring, and usually right after it rained a whole bunch.
Yep. All right, Jason, are you there? I think you're next.
Yep. All right. First up, we've got a bolete.
Yay.
It's got some staining on the stem here. Small yellow pores. This was a pretty young one. It stains blue, but it took a few seconds. You slash it, and then it kind of turns like a gray, dull color, and then after like maybe 2 or 3 seconds, it turns blue. Here's a better shot of the stem. little bit of staining here on the bottom of the cap. When I sliced it, it started off blue and then slowly over maybe 10 or 15 minutes, it got deeper blue and then it started to change to like a brownish red color.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I suspected.
And then here's the final photo after about 20 minutes. So I called it Lanmaoa pseudosensibilis, but I'm looking for confirmation or correction.
I confirm.
Cool.
Just as a side note, please avoid taking pictures in bright light. It really distorts the colors.
Yeah, this was at night, so I was struggling to get it in good light. I was using a flashlight. This was using a flash.
Yeah, this is the only species in Lanmaoa that does that. It blues in the flesh, and then the bluing disappears and gets replaced by these warm reddish brown staining. And that's the telltale sign of Lanmaoa pseudosensibilis, along maybe with a more brown than red cap. The caps there are usually brown, some shade of brown, like dark tan. Occasionally it could be a reddish brown, but mostly they are brown. So, but the staining is very characteristic of the species. You cannot confuse this with anything else.
Does this one have the bullion smell or no?
No. It doesn't have any smell at all, or it smells pleasantly.
Okay.
It varies, but no bullion. No.
Yeah,
No
I forgot to smell
no
this
bullion.
one.
Okay.
It's a great edible, according to a number of people. You can eat it.
I asked Scott Pavel if he parboils his Lanmaoa before he eats them, and he said no. So I think I might try these out.
Yeah, don't parboil. Parboiling basically takes a lot of flavor out of many mushrooms.
Yeah, but what I was worried about was that perhaps the parboiling took out toxins. So, but he says he doesn't parboil them; they eat them. They just fry them up and eat them. So yeah, I'll have to try this species out. It still bothers me that my old field guides say it's poisonous.
No, the old field guide, throw it out. It's just antiquated information. Yeah, a lot of people said they're great. Shihong tried them. I asked other people at Forays. Beset say it's edible. And of course, at that time, the species concept was maybe a little bit more fuzzy, but now we know what it is.
Right.
Yeah, I
think they used to call this brick cap balloui.
Oh, I don't know what the common name is, but Shihong just said she confirms that it's delicious.
Yeah, so, both texture and taste are great.
That's what Scott says.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the most telling feature is the tube is very short compared with the flesh.
Yeah, but that's true for all Lanmaoas by and large, especially when they're that young.
Just take the slug off first.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. And we now have a report that Lanmaoa carbania liver is also edible and good.
Now, did Svetlana eat that, or was that Ursula?
Svetlana ate that. Yep, she did.
Okay.
But that species is more rare.
All right, next one I saw today. This is what the AI called it, so low confidence. But this was up in northern New Jersey, hardwood, upland hardwood, very crinkled cap.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that looks right to me.
Yeah, it looks right to me.
Yeah, you can increase your confidence on that one.
Yeah, it's not subglabripes, even though the rest is very similar, and it's not enigmaticum.
Yeah, sometimes subglabripes is a little bit wrinkled on the cap, but not
it would be.
Extent.
Yeah, and so would be rubra punctum, but not to the same extent as hortonii. Yeah, I've eaten these before. They're okay.
Cool. All right, next up, also something I found today. I'm trying to get some spores out of it, but I haven't gotten anything yet. This was up in northern New Jersey again under hardwoods, some type of peziza-like mushroom growing out of the ground. So there were some pine trees nearby, but it was mostly Mostly hardwoods.
So Otidea has the split down, the vertical split on one side of the fruit body. These are kind of contorted and wrapped, sort of wrapped up. I mean, Otidea is usually more of just a tall saucer kind of thing with one split down, but I mean, it could be Otidea. Yep.
Maybe these haven't fully expanded open and they'd get more like that, Dave, with a little more time.
That's a possibility. Yep.
And both fruit bodies seem to have that same form.
Seems like an interesting color. I mean, the Otidea that I know, I think are mainly, I think there's like a yellow one and a brown one.
This is in between.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of gray.
It dries brown.
Ah.
This is after I got home several hours later. But yeah, this was this morning. I tried to do a smash mount and I got nothing, so now I'm just hoping got it sitting on a slide and hoping to get some.
Oh, really? You know what to try? Scrape a little bit of the upper surface onto a slide.
Okay.
I think that's where the hymenium is going to be. So you might be able to find some asci like that.
Cool.
I'm on the peziza stuff. I usually can't not find stuff, but I don't know. My preferred is you make a slice so you got a real nice line, and then I try to get a second one, and then just like lay the whole. Then you have a bit of the bottom and the top, and all the.
Well, I collected this at 11:30 this morning, and then I sat in my truck for 7 hours.
Yeah, 90 degrees will do that.
So, all right.
Jason, do you have a shot from like the profile? Was it on, did it have a little stipe?
Let me see if I can grab it.
I think Otidea is probably a good lead here.
The only other thing that I would suggest would be Hohenbuehleria petaloides, which is not an ASCO. So you should be able to settle that microscopically.
Yeah, I don't see.
That also has gills.
Oh, right. I'm sorry. That has gills. Yep. Sorry. That has gills.
Yeah, I don't really see a distinct stipe. I'm trying to break away the soil from it, but yeah, there's no stipe. Yeah, well, I'll try to get some spores out of it.
Oh, sorry. I was muted. Otidea anotica, maybe is one to consider.
Yeah. Yep, that kind of looks like what mine is. That's one of the ones I was leading towards. It's the more common species for northern New Jersey. All right.
Cool one.
Yeah.
Very.
All right, next up I got a lichen. This is a crustose lichen that was growing on a shrub in an upper salt marsh. See, there's a couple lichens here. I'm talking about the one with the yellow apothecia, not the one with the black discs over here. Here's a closer shot. This is a species that is K plus red. Literature calls it K plus red purple. Kind of gets a little bit darker when it dries a bit. And here it is under ultraviolet, which shows that it's UV minus. So I think this is the species Athallia holocarpa, which used to be Caloplaca. Caloplaca is kind of getting broken up into multiple genera these days. But it seems to be not a super common species or not a well-documented species in New Jersey. Most recently, James Lundemer collected it at Sandy Hook, kind of in a similar type of habitat on groundsel bush, which is like an upper salt marsh species. So there are some other, and here's another one that's kind of in salt marsh habitat down in Cumberland County. So I suspect it's more common than the record suggests. I don't think lichenologists are spending a lot of time in salt marshes of New Jersey, so it's probably out there. And
are the little black dots some other species?
Yes. Yeah, that's another lichen, probably a Borrelia.
Cool.
Great colors.
Yeah. Okay, and then my last one is this guy. This is on dried magnolia fruits. You can see it's got these orange spherical fruiting structures. We'll zoom in. Looks like that. And some more. Tried to get some.
That's the photo.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's great.
I tried to get some micro photos. These are just kind of the basically those balls. Which are basically just these aggregates. There it is, starting to get broken up. But I think it's this thing, Hydropisphaera peziza. Marisol had it at Smithville. This wasn't too far from there, so it's not much more pull one. First time I've seen that.
So what is this, a bud or something that came off? What it?
Fruit.
It's the fruit of a magnolia tree that's being eaten.
I don't think I've ever seen one.
Yeah, so not the cone, right? The actual fruit.
Yeah, like this thing.
Oh, okay. So it is do you call that a cone?
Yeah, technically no. I mean it's an angiosperm. It's not a conifer, so it's a true fruit. But yeah.
Well, that's why I was looking, because right underneath, like where the fruit is, or where like when all the petals come off of the flower, it leaves this very particular pattern around the bottom where I think it's where all the petals were attached. And that's why I was wondering. It looked
technically they're an aggregate of follicles, cone-like aggregate of follicles.
Yeah, I just know the fungi that grow on whatever it is. A lot of the reports call it the magnolia cone. those black things that we find in the swamps, right?
Yeah, never trust a mycologist's identification of botanical structures.
Yeah, that's fair.
All right, that's all I got.
Nice.
That's super cool.
Yeah, those were good ones. All right, we're on a roll. Lots of good stuff here tonight. Is there anyone else that wants to share from their device? If not,
I have some stuff.
You got some stuff? All right, Igor. Oh yeah, there you. Yeah.
Let me close this. Share Chrome tab. All right. Can you see this?
Yes.
Can you see my screen? Okay, I'm going to start off with this one. I think I'm mostly going to cover the foray at Thompson Helmeta. So Nicole Engel found this at the Helmeta site, this unusual Amanita. That's something happening with MO today. I think they're uploading a bunch of updates and there's some malfunctions. Anyway, can you see the images?
Yeah.
Yes.
And I'm just going to flip through the photographs so you can see the features of this mushroom before I talk about them briefly. I've never seen this Amanita section Lepidella before, and it had this kind of a pale cream beigey universal veil covering both the stem, the stipe, and the cap, and it had kind of a olivaceous or greenish tinge to it, and it was real. It was not just a tree canopy, sort of shining green light on the Amanita. And you can see in the pictures that the skin of this Amanita, the cap skin, actually is brown, and you can see the universal veil that comes in this kind of pulverulent material, soft material is just coming off, peeling off the skin of the Amanita. So I saved this, and based on the evidence that I uncovered, also together with a suggestion from Nicole, it's possibly Amanita in the Amanita pelioma group. Usually these have bluish green stains on the stipe when handled. I did not see any bluish or green stains, at least outwardly, but there might have been. I think, here's a photograph. Maybe there's something going on over here at the bottom of the stipe, but it was not obvious. It wasn't actually screaming at me like, oh, look, there's some aquamarine, bluish green staining. But overall, the morphology is consistent with pelioma. If so, this would be like the first example of Amanita pelioma or pelioma group in New Jersey. I think it's mostly a southern species. And even at Rod Tallis's website, it's not listed from New Jersey.
Wow, that's interesting.
Another feature of this Amanita that kind of became apparent when I took a closer look at the gills behind the partial veil, maybe you can see it here, the gills are brown. They are the color of cafe au lait, maybe slightly darker. And there's another Amanita by the name of Amanita microlepis that has the same cafe au lait, kind of a beige, kind of brownish gills. So this is not decomposition. This is how the gills look like in the Amanita. They're not white, they're brown.
Are they still going to drop white spores?
That's a good question. I'm not. Yeah, I mean, Amanita spore colors are white.
Yeah.
I have to read up on that. See what Rod says about this, the spore print color. Good question, Lila. I didn't think about this. I just presumed they all have to be white for Amanitas, regardless of their gill color.
Yeah, that's what we all learned, but wow, those are clearly brown gills.
Yeah, those are clearly brown. You can see naturally I peeled more away of the partial veil just to make sure before I started drying this thing. But you can also see how thick and at the same time relatively fragile the ring is. It's kind of, very soft material, very fluffy too. And I'm pretty sure when the cap expands, this thing just falls off in pieces. It doesn't stay attached to the stipe. It would be like collapsing and dropping to the ground in these huge chunks of tissue,
What
like some of the other amanitas do from sexual
what
Lepidella.
modern section is this in? Do you know?
Let me quickly look this up in
Yeah, I was going to look at
Rutgers.
on Amanitas.
Yeah,
Amanitas, yeah.
Pelioma, Amanita pelioma. According to Ratellis, it is in section Strabiliformis,
Oh, okay.
which is not Rhonacensis.
Right.
Stirp cinerea. So it's one of these darker colored, brown or gray brown Lepidellas that are funky, unusual. It's a relatively small section. Interestingly, Amanita ravenellii is also in that section. If
Oh, really?
if Ratellis's concept of Amanita ravenellii is correct. Again, everything that we know.
Which one is
about,
Rhopalopus in?
Well, unfortunately, the phylogenetic position of Rhopalopus is unknown at this time.
Okay. All right.
But more importantly, everything we know about Amanita is in the sense of Ratellis. And we get to find out exactly what these old types can give us in terms of DNA, so we can match them to modern specimens.
So this stipe is covered in UV, you were saying?
Yes. Look at that. You can actually see this in this image. You see that skin is like peeling off. There's like it's more like a sheath than a powder in the cap, but you can see that the skin of the Amanita is showing through this other layer that's breaking up.
So this, like in other amanitas, this is what would just be bunched up at the bottom, like at the vulva, right?
Well, this is probably the limbus internus of the vulva. So this is what happens. A lot of the ornamentation in stipital ornamentation in amanitas is from the internal limb of the vulva. So it is part of the vulva, but it's the internal part of it, not the external part. Okay, so this is saved, and hopefully we'll try to get this barcoded when the time comes.
Yeah.
All right, enough about this one. Come on, go back. No, too far.
So that one was Pelioma?
Yeah, Amanita pelioma group I proposed because I'm
yeah,
not quite...
Rutillus does not provide a spore print color, so I assume it's white.
Okay.
Yeah, I went to Michael Quo's site and he says white, Dave.
Can you look up Microlepis and see if it reports the spore print color for that one, because it also has brown gills. This foray was known for a large number of Tylopilus, cryptic Tylopilus, and I'm going to show this one. So I think all these collections, and there were 4 collections of Tylopilus that I sort of segregated. They all came from the Helmeta section of the foray, and I think I know the species. I know the species because I found something similar, not only at Thompson Helmet in the past that was sequenced, but also at Washington Crossing State Park. We got a sequence, and for a long time, we applied the wrong name on the species. And only recently, when a lot of ITS sequences from type sequencing by Dentinger and Damnauer came through and were posted in GenBank, I could put a name on the species. It's called subfusipes, Tylopilus subfusipes. I'm pretty sure this one is subfusipes. It's a fairly small Tylopilus. It likes to grow in cespitose clusters, and it tastes bitter, and the stipes are pallid with some brown dotted material on it. And when you touch them, they stain readily everywhere, not only on the pores, but also on the stipe and the cap. And I'm just flipping through the, and this is collection by Shihong. I'm flipping through the pictures. So I'll probably submit this for sequencing, but I'm pretty sure that this one is going to be, yeah, we called it Appalachiensis, but now we know it's subfusipes. Any questions about this guy? Small size, cespitose growth. I mean, the cluster from Washington Crossing, I think, had 5 fruiting bodies, and that's what a lot of these collections were from Helmeta. Here's another one that might be or may not be the same species. I think it's different. The stipes here are darker, but they also stain brown, as you can see from handling. And this came from also by Shihong. Cespitose growth, and I tasted them. They were disgustingly bitter. And look at this. So this was photographed many more hours after the foray. So the brown staining, apparently now the stipes are purple. And this is not some kind of an optical illusion. I saw these with my own eyes. They were purple. So compare the photograph at the foray, right after after they were collected, maybe like an hour or two. No purple tones in here, and here we have purple tones. So maybe this is different species from the one that I showed before. So maybe this is not subfusipes. This is something else. Take a look at that. There's purplish or violaceous colors at the apex and also where the browning was. Bizarre, right?
You know, I found something like this at Nymph, and I called it Viola tinctus.
But this is not Viola tinctus.
No, it's not. No, it's not. I was a little bit doubtful of my ID.
Look at the caps. The caps are this tobacco brown color from the get-go. Viola tinctus doesn't have that.
The cap on mine wasn't as dark as this, but the fruit body was bigger and so more spread out.
Yeah, but look how the collection looked originally here. You know, there's no violaceous tinges anywhere. This is not Viola tinctus.
No, I'm not saying it is. I'm just wondering what I found might be something different than I said.
Right. Okay. I mean, there were Viola tinctus at Nymph. I saw at least 2 collections of it. Okay, so again, cespitose growth, small size, and bitter taste, but lavender or violaceous staining, unlike the other one.
What's the name of that? Because I think I found this once, actually, in the Adirondacks.
What?
He's not sure. Not really sure what this
you're not sure what the name is?
No, for this one, I don't know.
What was the other name?
Subfusipes.
Because it's still similar to this.
And the third collection that may or may not be the same things that we saw before is this. This was found by Bianca, who went to Helmeta with Shihong and some other people, and Nicole and other people. So look at this one. I think it looks more similar to the first collection. The stipes are pallid, and they are maybe more punctate, and they stain brown. But the caps are much lighter in color. They're not dark brown. They're more kind of a yellowish brown. But again, small size, bitter taste, prominent staining, cespitose growth suggests subfusipes. And maybe that species is just variable. And you can see, again, the small fruit body turned, again, violaceous. And this is many hours after the foray. Like I was taking these pictures like 8 hours after they were harvested. So compare this picture, which was taken, at the ID session, that small fruit body here, no indication of any violaceous lavender colors, and the same fruit body here. So this is probably related to the second collection. Other than that, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, just that's good. I know you were busy categorizing these. I think weren't there 4 in the end. Yet another one too. That was
yeah. There was another one. I'm going to show it briefly. I haven't processed it yet completely. Let's see. Where is it? No, it's not. It's not on MO, but I think it's actually. I'm going to show you a photograph where I photographed all 4 collections. Yeah, here we go. So this is number 1 that I called the Apochiensis subfusipes. This is number 2 that was prominently violaceous. And then that's number 3 that has yellow-brown caps that also turn violaceous at the end. This is by Bianca, and the upper 2 are by... see, MO is malfunctioning. This stuff here is not supposed to be popping up, these photograph ratings. This is a bug. So these 2 are by Shihong. This is Bianca. So this is the 4th collection. And I think those 2 fruit bodies were probably found separately. And I combined them because they look the same to me. I can probably try to expand this photograph. No, it doesn't work. So it's probably the same thing. Maybe, maybe not. So all these brown Tylopilus, are confusing.
Yeah. Wow.
And the last Tylopilus that I wanted to show is something that we know very well, and Tylopilus balloui. And according to Colin Damnauer, everything that he sequenced in the balloui quote-unquote group from the United States turned out to be the same species. So we apparently have only 1 species of Tylopilus balloui, but the whole group is widespread globally. Places like Australia, New Zealand, and in Asia, North America. I don't think there are, maybe in South America as well, or Mesoamerica. So all these balloioid Tylopilus is everywhere in the world, but in North America, apparently it's only 1 species. So they also like to grow in cespitous fashion quite often, and you can see some fresher specimens on the right, but the cluster on the left is already kind of fading into this, nondescript brown Tylopilus. And the older they get, the nastier they begin to smell. The odor of the older collection on the left here reminded me of a musty cellar, wine cellar, kind of this disgusting moldy smell. And here's like more details of those collections. These are in a better shape. I took them home, but I wound up not saving them. There was just too many mushrooms to process, and it's not like I was trying to sequence these because I've sequenced balloui before, and I don't think it would be a good use of money, even though now it's cheap to sequence with nanopore. All right, so this is balloui, and maybe one more observation, and then I'll be done with you with my
Igor,
mushrooms.
real quick, is there a name for our North American balloui, or?
No. Balloui was described from Long Island or Staten Island.
Okay.
So this is a bona fide North American species.
Cool. Thank you.
All right. Well, there's I don't know. There's like three collections here that I want to talk about, but maybe I'll choose this one. An Amanita section of Lepidella collected by Lila. This cespitous cluster had 7 fruiting bodies. They were all growing together. And I cut them off at the base when I processed them because there was so much sand. I had to cut off half of the base, and only then I could count all the stems. But they were fused together at the tip. And I don't know what species this is, but this is certainly unusual for Amanita to grow in a cespitous cluster like that.
I think I've only ever seen Amanita brunescens grow like that.
I've seen Lepidellas grow like that, but that was a long time ago, and maybe only once. So I have no idea what species this is. The bulbs, you can see that they are kind of turnip-shaped. It expands, and then it narrows down to like a point. So it's slightly rooting, but it doesn't have a long root. But again, it's like turnip shape. It's fat on the bottom and then tapers down to a pointy ending. So this was also saved and we'll submit this for sequencing toward the end of the year when we're ready to submit stuff to Steve. Briefly about this one, also found by Lila at Halmeta. I think this is an Amanita from section, or I should say subsection Limbatulae. And these are Lepidellas that are, in the broad sense, that are characterized by limbate bulbs. You can see there's like a slightly raised color at the top of the bulb. So this is not a section of Phalloidii because it doesn't have a ring. And if you look here, you can see there's like a single piece of the universal veil, like a sheet that covers almost the entire cap. So Phalloidii doesn't do that. And of course, like I said, there's no ring. But the base is impressive. It's fat, and you can see the limb, like a color at the top of the bulb. So I'm pretty sure this is from subsection Limbatulae. There are very few species in that subsection, and they're quite rare. So this material was also saved.
Subsection Limbatulae.
Limbatulae. Here's the name, Limbatulae.
Thank you.
And the last one I want to show, this Lactarius, that I was able easily to find in the Bisset milk cap book because of its unusual color and cap texture. I think this is Lactarius or Lactifluus allardii. And maybe Dave is more familiar with the species. But the cap color is correct. The gills are staining olivaceous green by the scanty white milk. The milk is white, but then it stains the gills this greenish color. I tasted this specimen, the large one, and it was immediately acrid. Very, very acrid. And here's a smaller fruiting body, which I think was found together. I don't know who collected this. So, Dave, do you think this is allardii?
Well, I believe that I have found allardii, but it's been a long time since I've seen it. Like 5 years at least. But those are pretty distinctive characteristics that you mentioned. If it fits, if those things fit allardii,
it kind of fits, right. the color of the cap, its texture, the acrid taste, and the staining of the gills by the latex. The only thing that doesn't match, the Bisset book says that the stipes of these are hollow, and this was certainly not hollow. You can see here from the cross section, it's solid inside. And I cut eventually the stipe off to dry it, and it was solid inside. There were no spaces or chambers or lacunae or stuffing. It was completely solid through, eaten by the bugs, but solid. Okay, so this was also saved, and maybe we'll sequence it. Thank you all. That's all I have.
Thank you, Igor. It's great. Okay. Tristan, I saw you join. Do you have anything you want to share?
No, I don't.
Okay. Anybody else have anything from their machine? All right, I'm going to go to Taxonomy Tuesday. So we got things from Shihong, Dave, and Doug in that order. All right, let me share. Let's see, share. Okay. All right, Shihong.
Okay, so this is a very old specimen, but I was just hoping maybe Igor can help me identify it. So the tube looks very angular, or what you say.
Okay.
when I slice it, it actually turned blue. The flesh turns blue.
Whoa.
Right. So look at the length of the
Yeah,
Tubes.
thick tube layer.
Yeah.
They are arcuate. They're arcuate. They're arching. They're blown out so badly. So the bluing is immediate, and the tubes are very long.
Yeah.
The tubes long that eliminates Lanmaoa, I think, and Biorangia. Look at the pores. The question is, were they red from the get-go, or did they get red because of age? Because yellow-pored boletes often get tinged with red. Looking at this, do you have a cross-section of the mushroom complete? Like, did you cut the stipe?
Did I? Let me see. Probably did not.
Yeah.
Yeah. Didn't we just see a photo of a cross section?
That was just the cap.
It was just the cap.
Yeah.
I wanted to see the stipe.
It's huge, actually. It was big. And I didn't have a knife with me, so I kind of just break it open.
It could be Neobalatus, although I don't immediately recognize it, or maybe less likely Calabalatus. Did you try to taste it? Was it bitter? Was it
No, I
mild?
did not try. I did not try.
Yeah, I don't think I can ID this one. It's just a little bit far gone.
Okay, so.
And in some ways, kind of generic looking. So maybe Dave can impart a little bit more. Dave?
No, I don't know what this is. I mean, the pore surface kind of reminded me of Chalciporus, but this looks big and the other colors seem wrong.
Yeah. Did it blue instantly?
I think
or
it's
slowly?
Instantly. Yeah.
And was there any change to the bluing? Did it subside, like change to kind of grayish, fade away, or did it change to brown?
I did not wait for that long.
You did not wait that long. Okay.
Yeah.
Is this the only picture?
This is the only picture broke open. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Calabalatus has a very distinct feature, the whole genus. When you cut the stipe, the flesh is kind of whitish or pale yellow, but within that you see other colors. It will blue, but it would also be yellow stains or reddish stains or sort of grayish brown stains. It has multiple colors inside, and that's a feature of Calabalatus. Other mushrooms don't usually do that. Although there's some staining in Neobalatus, you have like deep red shades of deep red shades in the exposed stipe flesh at the bottom. But Calabalatus usually is much more vivid and multicolored inside. But it tastes bitter, so that's another giveaway. So if you know your mushroom tastes bitter and it's not Tylopilus, it's likely Calabalatus.
Okay, so next time I taste it.
Do you think there's any chance this could be Cyanoboletus?
How big was this? Shihong?
The two leaf. I used the two oak tree leaf as a reference there.
Yeah, this is Cyanoboletus cyanate tinctus, which I think is the only Cyanoboletus here in the east, is a much smaller mushroom.
This looks
this
like
is really big.
Your outstretched hand, like your hand wide open kind of look.
And you see the pores are red. Like I said, to me it suggests either the pores were red to begin with, or they became red because of the aging of the mushroom.
Yeah, definitely it's very old.
It is very old.
Yeah, I'm guessing those pores just became darker with age.
Yeah, I think so too, because they look kind of yellowish up here on the, when you can see kind of into them a little bit.
There is a red horde species of Calaboletus, and Calaboletus firmus may not be the correct name. We actually don't know the identity of Calaboletus firmus, but the species we call firmus actually is Boletus piedmontensis, which is a southern species. We don't have it here in the northeast, or it's very, very rare. So it is possible that this might be then Calaboletus piedmontensis, which eventually will become Calaboletus piedmontensis. But I kind of doubt this. But anyway, so I cannot, ID this, so let's just move on. I'm sorry.
Okay, good. I like the discussion though.
If you find this again at the spot, definitely bring it to my attention. But this is way too old and oxidized.
Yeah.
Now.
Okay, so this so has red stem and yellow pores and blue, dark blue, blackish. If you flip the cap is
10.
10.
Great 10. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I thought it's Calaboletus, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, it is Calaboletus. It's
I
either,
agree.
as you said, in the Inedulus group, or maybe this is a species called Subclavatosporus. It's a very rare species. There's only one modern collection from upstate New York. I made it 10 years ago. And if you read the description of that species, it's pretty close to Inedulus. But even within Inedulus, we have at least 2 species that look like Inedulus, or something that we interpret as Calaboletus inedulus. But the stipe is here very red, and it's not reticulate. And in inedulus, the stipe ornamentation is variable. Sometimes you get fairly prominent reticulation, at least on the upper half, and sometimes the stipes, like here, are completely smooth.
Can we zoom in? It looks like the stipe is reticulate.
Yeah, I'm thinking up here is a little bit of faint reticulation. That's as much as I can zoom in.
Yeah, there's a fine reticulum.
Maybe at the top, centimeter or so, but below it's just kind of, dotted. The bottom half is not reticulate. Yeah, I can see a little bit of a network where you show it. Yeah, it's sort of kind of unravels itself very quickly into these ridges. Yeah, definitely Calaboletus and possibly Inedulus. So I agree with that. But the picture is more complex. What's that?
I got it right once.
Yeah, and you should have tasted this because they taste bitter.
Okay, that's one thing I seldom do. Yeah.
And again, the cross section here, you see the flesh is whitish, but it browns inside, and you also see red staining as well.
Yeah.
And then a little bit of red, blue up here.
Right, and a little bit of blue in the cap above the tubes.
Yeah.
So, like I said, the palette of colors in Calaboletus in the stipital tissue is impressive. It's very, very impressive. Not here, but overall, it's one of the features, I think, of the genus. I've seen this in multiple species.
So was this in New Jersey, Shihong? Did you find this?
Yeah, this is all, I think it's all Colonial Park. I was
Colonial Park?
Yeah.
Sounds familiar. Is that near Verona?
No, it's in Somerset.
Somerset County. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Very nice.
I have 2 more bolete.
Okay, we'll move on.
Okay, the cap is a bright bright red color, and the underside are yellow. And this kind of remind me of the first one we show, the tube. But I did not cut open this one.
Okay. More pictures, or this is it?
Let's see if I have another one. No, I think.
Can you show the bottom of the stipe maybe as well?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Red and
Is this an old Pulveroboletus ravenellii?
No, I don't think so.
You sure? When they lose all their velar material, they look like this.
They always retain some of it, and here we don't see
not
any.
always. No, they sometimes lose all of it. The pores are a little bit wrong, though. I'd say.
But the thing is, the stipes remain yellow because they're covered with that veil. They're not orange red like this.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I still think there's a chance that's what it is. But let me look. Let me find something. Let me look at.
I mean, you can look for the observations of Pulveroboletus ravenellii. Can we see the? I mean, it's possible it's Hortiboletus. Whether this is Campestris, Campestris is pretty rare, and it's mostly northern distribution. Yeah, looking at that cap, I would not say this is Pulveroboletus ravenellii. It would never look like this. Doesn't have that orange red cap.
A little bit of sterile tissue maybe around the cap edge here.
Is just peeling off.
It's peeling, okay, from age.
Yeah, the hymenophore expands and it sort of pushes the skin out.
Okay.
I don't think this is Hortiboletus favorabilis. But Campestris is a possibility. But like I said, in my experience, that species is more rare and it's more boreal in distribution. I've never seen Campestris in New Jersey.
Okay. But the genus is right?
The genus probably could be right, yeah. The pore surface, the pores are xerocomoid, they're angular, they're large. Even though this is in Boletoideae, not in Xerocomoideae, the pores of Hortiboletus are still xerocomoid. Yeah. I don't have a better idea for this bolete.
Campestris, or you think it's something else?
Possibly Campestris, or maybe another Hortiboletus, but I don't think this is favorabilis. Okay. How big was this?
It's relatively small.
Relatively small, yeah. That's another Hortiboletus signature. None of them have caps more than 2.5 inches.
Yeah. Okay.
Last one.
Yeah, Shihong, you have some tough boletes to ID today.
I know, I only send tough ones.
All right. I got 3 from you. Did you send another one?
Maybe I did not send the first one. Never mind.
All right, you can send it while we're looking at Dave's. Okay. Or shall we jump ahead, Dave, briefly to Doug, and then we'll come back to you.
All right.
Doug, you still there?
Okay. I need to take a break anyway. I'll be right back.
All right, we'll pull up Doug's.
Cool, I love this one.
Lila, give me a minute. I'm about 3 minutes from my home. I'm driving from taking a walk in the park. So
okay.
Let Dave go. I have about 3-4 minutes, and then I can present that the pin mold.
Okay. All right. Well, I think Dave just took a brief break as well. So
I can show one if you want, Lila.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
Okay. I gotta share it though.
All right, I gotta stop sharing. All yours. I gotta grab a glass of water here. I'll be back in 15 seconds.
Can you guys see a mushroom or no?
Apps.
What?
Now I see you are sharing screen.
Okay. Can you see
mushroom?
Okay, great. Okay. Yeah. So some earth stars, Geastrum saccatum, I think. And these are really tiny. The little one was somewhere between a diamond and a nickel, and then the other one was maybe just a little bit bigger than a quarter. They were really small. And I did some microscopy, and unfortunately they actually are ornamented, but without going to the immersion oil, I'm not going to be able to see it because the spores are really, really tiny. So, but at any rate, it was fun to find these. It's always fun to find them. And
like 5 microns or something, 5 or 6 microns there.
Yeah, I guess so.
Maybe less, actually less, maybe.
Yeah, they were really small because I mean this is 400 times, and then with my iPhone times like at least 3. So yeah, so but I'm gonna start using oil. I just have to try. I have to. Hopefully I won't regret it. And then well, I found this cool
Xylaria.
Yeah, display of Xylaria. I really liked how it presented itself, and I think it's hypoxylon. I did do some microscopy. I think this is an immature spore here, and then this is a mature spore. And then I think those are like the germ pore slits, spiraling across, but I don't know for sure. These were the only spores I could get off of it. And so that's that. And then
well, if it had the spiral germ pore, doesn't that mean longipes?
oh, maybe, I don't know. Is that maybe it's not a spiral germ pore, but I thought it was a septate spore, and then I guess they're not septate. So
What's the magnification here?
400.
400. So that spore is maybe about 8.5 or 9 microns long, maybe 8.5. I thought hypoxylon should be branched, usually at least.
branched.
Yeah, the fruit bodies are branched. Like I think they call it moose antlers or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe they are branched. Okay, I see.
Yeah.
Okay, they are branched.
Very much so.
Okay, I didn't notice that at first.
Yeah, that's okay. So anyways, yeah, that's really all I have. I did have 2 things to say. One was about that white chicken of the woods that Brandon showed. When I looked it up, it said that it is edible, but only to eat it off a live deciduous tree, that not to eat it off a dead tree. I thought that was interesting, and I was just wondering if anyone's heard of that, or heard of that with any other mushrooms. And then I had one more question.
What species is that with respect to? I'm sorry, did you say the
what was it, Brandon?
Oh, Berkeley's polypore.
No, that chicken thing that Brandon showed. Wasn't it?
Berkcurtia. Berkcurtia.
Berkcurtia.
Okay, I'm sorry, I don't know
persicina.
that one.
Yeah. Berkcurtia persicina. So Yeah, I just thought that was interesting that it would be edible on a live tree, but not on a dead tree.
Yeah, that is kind of interesting, huh?
Yeah,
I mean, there
and
there are those anecdotes with proper Latoporus, proper chicken of the woods mushrooms that say, if it's on conifer, you don't want to eat it, or if it's on a live tree, you don't want to eat it. Uh, so maybe that goes both ways, but interesting.
yeah, I thought it was interesting, and it may have just been like the AI answer, so it may not have been in any valid sources. But then the other thing I wanted to say, just since I have the floor, is Lauren's Lactarius that was in the Taxonomy Tuesday.
Actually being parasitized by a mycoparasite. And I have the undersurface also that you can see more of the, there should be a second photo there. Yeah, if you zoom in on it, you'll see the grayish mycelium there. Yes. So this is the pin mold called Syzygites megalocarpus. It's parasitic. They call it the troll doll fungus. I'd seen it before, but I never really thought about it.
The troll doll fungus. I love that. I did not know that was the common name. How funny.
Yeah, and I think most of us have probably seen it in packaged uh, Agaricus bisporus. It's a common pest in mushroom houses, like out in Kennett Square. It's a big problem with the mushroom industry, but it can attack over 60 genera, and it's parasitic. Therefore, to do that, it has to secrete something to break down the cell walls of the fungus. And the two main things are the cell wall mostly is chitin, and which is beta 1,4 acetylglucosamine polymer, and beta 1,3 glucan. And it secretes these enzymes, glucosidases, chitinases, that allow it access through the cap and into the um, inside of the fungus. These enzymes are present in all mushrooms because that's how they grow their caps. They are constantly remodeling them. But in these parasitic ones, they're actually secreted outside by the fungus itself. A little research in history this fungus was the first one that helped describe sects in fungi. It's a homophilic fungus, meaning it has it mates between the same mating types rather than heterophilic. But it produced zygospores described by de Bary in the early 1800s, and so it has two types. The zygospores are melanized and they're thicker. They occur when it's dark and damp and cooler. Otherwise, it'll reproduce asexually by sporangiospores. And the zygospores are the sexual phase, being diploid, and then they germinate, undergo meiosis, and make the haploid organism that you see here. And then when the compatible mating types meet, they can then form a sexual. So it has kind of an interesting history. It's also not this particular one, but many of these are used in fermentation, like rhizopus, everyone knows from bread molds, but one rhizopus is used to make tempeh. I forget the species name, the fermented soybean. Some other actinomucor are used to make other types of fermented tofu. and even Chinese bean curd and rice wine are made with these organisms. So it has an interesting history, has an interesting commercial benefit, and a lot of these enzymes that are secreted break down other fungi, and in the human gut, our immune system can recognize some of these breakdown products, particularly the beta-1,3 glycan, so that immunologically we recognize when we are eating mushrooms, we have some immune response to these breakdown of the cell wall. So anyway, I just thought I'd go into some depth about it. It's sort of a pretty thing. If you go back to the photo, it's kind of neat looking. And I would imagine that other people have seen them. It's sort of different than the hypomycete because it seems to allow the structure of the attacked fungus to stay intact. It doesn't totally degrade it. So maybe someone else has seen these and can comment about their experience.
I think I showed it last week on a different bolete, and I've shown it other times as well. But I wanted to comment. I feel like this bolete. I feel like this is a bolete, but that it may also be attacked by the Hypomyces chrysosperma at the same time. I don't know if anyone else feels that way, and otherwise,
I was going to ask if that might be the case.
Yeah,
yeah,
I saw the yellow foot, right?
right. Because otherwise, I was like, well, maybe it's a yellow-footed, chromopes, but I think it's the chrysosperma, don't you guys? Because you can see some up near the.
I think the Syzygites mainly just makes that like hairy stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
The beard, so it looks like there's two things on this one.
Well, so what is it? Syzygites? Doesn't that also do like a blue-green kind of trichoderma looking thing, which maybe we can also see in the upper left?
These spots here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not familiar enough with it to know. Doug may have more info on that.
Well,
does it ever look like this? Is this the same thing as the beardy stuff?
You're talking about the yellow?
No, these gray nodules or fluffy dots or whatever, these things along the cap surface up here.
Oh, that's something different. The steel wool you see in the lower part.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I agree with, I think, what Hunter said. I think it has the hypomyces and maybe even another mycoparasite on it. It's interesting. Maybe they synergize. They probably like the same genera, and maybe if they weaken the defense of the mushroom, it allows better access to their mycelia. It's interesting to think about that. Maybe it would be good when we see one of them to kind of look at the cap carefully to see if they often occur together. Maybe we could report on that later on in the season. It's very interesting you mentioned that.
Yeah. Usually,
go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, usually when I do see, and I'm pretty sure I've seen things kind of, I would have said, like this moldy, hairy stuff on it. I usually like, that's been infected. I move on to look for something else. But like you say, maybe we ought to look a little closer and see if there's multiple things going on there.
I was wanting to do microscopy on the Syzygites. I just, it's just hard to imagine just getting it home, and I don't know. You didn't take it, Doug, did you?
No, I haven't set up a microscope yet. I'd like to do that this year. I'm looking at them.
I hope you do.
I think if you do it, you'll most likely get the sporangiophores spores, and the sporangiophores. It has these globe-shaped clusters of the sporangiospores at the tips of the pin-like sporangiophore.
Okay.
And, they branch dichotomously, so they'll just keep branching two. Where the zygospores, they're melanized, and they have a kind of I forget the word, I saw it in a picture, sort of a torpedo shape, and they're suspended from each side by some kind of mycelium, but they're dark, and they're not globose. So that would be interesting if you could follow up and show us.
I will try it. I will keep my eye open, and then I guess just like collect it and put it in like a little tackle box compartment, I guess, and or tinfoil. I don't know, but yeah, I will try. I'm interested.
Yeah, look forward to that.
Glad you showed it.
Yeah, thank you for commenting.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Doug. Thanks.
Yes, thank you.
A lot of good information in there. Appreciate you digging deep to share with us.
Yeah, Doug, I love when you really do dig deep, and it's really great to learn from you.
Oh, well, thank you. I like to do that. I'm not a crackerjack taxonomist, but I like the physiology and the evolution aspect and chemical aspect.
Yeah, I can't wait for you to have a microscope. I think it'll be pretty exciting.
Yeah, I'll probably have to get some help, but I think there's going to be, the trouble is I live close to Philly, and I think that most of the microscope teaching, is there one, Lila, at the end of August, but it's somewhere in northern New Jersey or Rutgers or someplace, right?
Yeah, I think there is one coming up. Yep.
Yeah, it's kind of far. But
Doug, if you want to ask any microscope questions or whatever, you just email me or whatever, call me, whatever.
Thank you. Is that Chris talking?
Yeah.
No, I'll do that, because I'm sure I'll have them, setting up and how to, yes, I will have questions, but I'm hoping to do it this fall.
You let me know.
Thank you. Thank you, Lila.
Sure. Thank you. All right, Dave.
Okay, so this was from Nymph. It was in mixed woods. There was hemlock, there was oak, there was birch. So this is a species of Porphyrellus. It's a genus that was split off of Tylopilus a number of years ago. It stains dark blue, and there are actually two different observations here that are sort of conflated into one, but it's the same mushrooms. So I found these in the woods, and the first few photos are my photos of taken when they were fairly fresh. I probably should have sliced one open and got a better idea about the overall staining reaction. So I actually proposed on my slip, and Igor went online and proposed the same, Porphyrellus porphyrisporus. The only problem is that species is big. Like these are pretty big. You can see this. It's as big as the field slip practically, but well, it's as wide as the field slip, let's say. But porphyrisporus should have a dark pore surface, and this has sort of this off-white beige sort of pore surface. So another choice would be sordidus, Porphyrellus sordidus. Those are usually kind of thin-stalked and not, rather small caps, at least in my experience. But I should have cut this open to see what kind of staining reaction we got. Hopefully, they sampled it for sequencing. I think they should have. It seems like a fairly interesting mushroom. They were in good condition, so they must have just fruited before I know, like a day or so before I found them. So once again, the first 3 photos are mine. That's my photo, more or less in the field. And this is several hours later, at least. This was when they were brought back to the sorting room, and they had been there for a while.
Yeah, those I saw at the time, so I didn't see the earlier when the mushrooms were, younger, after harvesting. I saw them already when they were aged. And the small one I remember had both the blue and the red staining in the pore surface. So to me, at least the small one looked like sordidus or sarditus. The bigger one was funkier.
I think that's probably, if not correct, closer to the truth. I mean, there might be some other species. It would be good to get this sequenced. It seemed pretty interesting to me.
Yeah, there was another sordidus-like mushroom that had a very long, tall stalk, thin, and and it was reticulate, but otherwise it looked just like sordidus. So I didn't photograph it. I'm not sure if it was saved. Maybe we'll see it, but maybe this indicates there's just more species in that species group.
I suspect that might be the case. This one it doesn't fit either of those 2 species concepts really, really well.
Yeah, I agree. This was kind of in between, closer maybe to sordidus than Porphyrosporus, but something was off. I agree with you.
Especially I agree with you. The beige pore surface seems wrong for Porphyrosporus.
Yeah, it should be brown, sometimes dark brown. And those fruit bodies are quite large. They're more bulky. They're more meaty. Even the big one was sort of not like a giant. It was barely like a medium-sized bolete. It was still. I mean, remember the slips themselves are very small.
Yeah, they're not that big.
Yeah.
Okay.
But there was also some true bona fide sordidus collections at NEMF. I think I saw at least one that was clearly Tylopilus sordidus. And then those looked somewhat different from these.
Okay, so it's not every day you find a Cortinarius that you can identify the species, but I'm pretty sure this is correct. Cortinarius bellaris. And this is interesting because unless you know this species, it's likely that you might not even recognize it as a Cortinarius. And I don't think this has been moved into one of those other genera. But look at the gills are really pale. Now it's kind of young. You can see it's got like a little ring zone on the cap, little brown ring zone, or on the stalk, I mean. The gills are very pale. But I'm pretty sure. And the cap, like this sort of broken up, somewhat mottled reddish cap, is that's bellaris. And they're usually not very big. They're small quartz. But look how pale the gills are. That was interesting to me. So I'm pretty sure it's correct. And then once again, we have photos here from after it was brought in and it was in the facility for several hours. So once again, this is like 2 observations. So observations are linked together via the field slip numbers, but I think you have to click on something and in order to link them together like this, because I did that. In fact, for these first 2 observations, the other observations that were the photos were taken indoors if several hours after they were brought in, those were the first observations to be posted, so they actually took precedence over mine. But when I linked them together, I was able to say that I wanted mine, my observation to take preference, because I thought the photos were better because they showed the mushrooms in a fresher state.
So are you saying that these mushrooms are by somebody else? Somebody else collected them?
No, it's the same mushroom several hours later.
Oh, all right,
so
all right.
There are two observations on MO, but they are now conflated together as though they are a single observation. And I don't think you're able to search both of them. I think you won't. There's actually only one observation now. I'm pretty sure.
But why would you have to combine two observations instead of just making one observation?
Because when they put things in the sequencing queue, they want to make sure there's an observation for it on MO, which is the official project for NEMF was MO. So some people don't create observations online. So then the MO crew and John Plischke, I think John probably took the pictures. They conspire to make an observation to make sure there is a record of the thing online, and that they show the field slip so that we see, that there's a correlation between, what's being said that it is.
And that makes sense. That makes more sense.
And then I come on later. Now, I don't create my observations in the field because I don't have a camera that connects to the internet. So it wasn't until like yesterday that I actually created my observation. And then when I linked them together, I was able to say, I want mine to take preference. It may not have even been called Cortinarius bularis. Sometimes the MO people, because they're in a hurry to just keep up with all the stuff coming in, they'll just create real quick observations and call them all fungi. And then hopefully the other person comes on and provide some sort of ID proposal. That may have been what happened here. I'm not sure.
All right. It doesn't matter for this discussion.
It doesn't. No. Yeah. Let's move on.
Yeah. It's after 9. I really have to get going.
Yeah. Okay. Fast. Russula albonigra. I think that's what this is. Although the staining, there was no red phase. So I don't think this is dissimulans or densifolia. It could be, but the staining was light. It wasn't red, but it was fairly light brown for a while. And it was not until like a few hours later that it got really pretty dark. And these are all my photos, I'm pretty sure. I don't think anybody else posted this one. Oh no, yes they did, because this that's not my photo. But you see how the slice is black. So I think albonigra, I discussed it with Noah. He agreed albonigra seems like a good ID, or it might be a group as usual. So Russula. Okay, we can move on and go through these quickly. I want to get to the last one, which is actually a 6th one, because I want to get to that one because it's pretty cool. Okay, so this is nothing special. It's just a great big beefsteak fungus. Fistulina americana. It's a pretty nice example. Once again, I don't like to cut them up because I like them to go onto the table, but it would have been nice at some point to cut through this and to look at the inner context. Looks like a marbled beefsteak. But we never did see that. So it's just a great big fistulina. Well, it's not a real big one, but it's a pretty good size. Fistulina americana. When I edited my photo, I tried to write in fistulina.
You got it. It's there.
It's kind of there. Yeah, I forgot the genus in the woods. So beefsteak fungus. The only wild mushroom I've ever eaten raw is this species.
Yeah, I've tried it raw. It's pretty good, actually.
It was pretty good.
Yep.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Yep.
Has to be better than cooked, because I cooked this thing one time and it was pretty gross.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah, they say you can marinate it too without cooking.
All right. Yeah, that's always nice to see.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure we get to the last one because that's actually maybe the coolest one. So is this Amanita kokeri or Amanita subkokeri? I think we're more apt to be in the range for subcoceri, but the bigger one especially, and these were growing not right next to one another, but only a few feet apart. And the bigger one really did have the odor of cedar wood. And that is, according to Rotulus, a subcoceri trait. Hopefully these get sequenced. You know, it used to be that Sanger sequencing didn't often work on what we used to call Lepidellas, you know, Lepidella sensu boss. So nanopore apparently works better. Hopefully we're going to get a sequence on some of these because this was not the only collection brought in that I would have called subcoceri.
Yeah.
And that is not my photo there. This is my photo here. That was right after they were harvested in the field. I put them on a rock. So notice the warts coming down the bulb.
Did you smell these?
Yes, the bigger one smelled like cedar wood. Yeah, the smaller one wasn't quite open yet, so I think that's probably why it didn't smell like much of anything. But I pretty clearly, I think these are pretty clearly the same species.
Yeah, I would have called this subcoceri too.
Yeah. Okay, I've got one more thing here. Is Jason still here?
So I have just one question, Dave. How is it possible that somebody else's photographs wind up in your observation? What do you mean by conflating?
One that Nathan Wilson posted. They were the authors of the alternative observation.
Well, that's my point. I mean, they post their observation and you post your observation, and yet somebody else's picture wind up in your observation. You didn't put them there.
Yeah, it's John's taking the pictures, and I don't know.
No, I mean, Dave, I'm not saying who takes the pictures, who puts them there.
Yeah, how are they combined?
Conversation, gang. All right, we can.
Yeah,
you guys can take that after
I don't know.
hours.
I don't know. I'll ask John if I see him.
I don't think Jason's here to comment on the lichen.
Okay.
So
Trekina. I showed you this, Karen, didn't I? So this was this guy George Hungerford found this. He's an arborist. He finds a lot of things on wood, and so he had this, and he was just sitting there in the microscope room, and I was in there going through my photos, and I saw this thing, and we talked about it a little bit. And Dennis Waters was there, so we got Dennis to come over and have a look at it. He did a chemical test on it. He thought he knew what it was to begin with. He thought it was this name, which is hard to say, and he did a chemical test on it. So I took it outside, and this is not my photo here. I don't think that one's mine. Wait, that one might be mine. The photos are not great. I had my camera on the wrong setting. I guess they could be worse, but they could be better also. But it's just an unusual fight. I don't think I've seen that. Did you know that name, Karen?
That was new to me.
New to you. Okay, yeah, because I didn't think I had heard it. That's not my photo there. That's somebody else took that one. Probably John. So yeah, okay. Yeah, I don't know how they're getting John's photos onto an observation that's authored by, say, Dina, for instance. That is a good question. I'm not sure how they're doing. There might be some tech trick they're using for that. So yeah, I don't know. But it was on rhododendron, George said. And George is good at identifying trees and such. So okay, it's an interesting lichen. I honestly don't know how to comment on the individual traits. I thought maybe Jason was still here. DPW, by the way, is Dennis Waters. So the ID is by Dennis. Okay, that's all I have. That was actually one extra one. Thank you for letting me get through that last one.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you. If you guys want to continue talking about the ins and outs of MO, go to it, but I'm going to conclude the meeting for this week. And please bring more mushrooms next week, everyone. It's fun to see what people are finding. Thank you. Have a good week.
Thanks, Lila.